welcome back. Today I am going to bring you along with me as I organize our ABEKA 6th grade homeschool curriculum. This is honestly the easiest, most streamlined way to organize your Abeka Homeschool Curriculum to make it easy for your children and you as the parent as well to manage and keep track of things. So make sure to stick around and watch. So for those of you who have been following me for a while, you know that I absolutely love organizing our Abeka Homeschool Curriculum using the binder method. And we are going to be using the exact same method this year to organize my son's 6th grade curriculum. I am going to show you step by step on how I put it together. This year, I actually created a printable that I am sharing with you guys as well in the description box below. You can just print it out. It's absolutely free. I just put it together to help myself organize it a lot quicker and make it a lot neater. And so I don't have a colorful printer. So I just printed mine in black and white, but it pretty much has the column for the subjects and each one of the quarters. And honestly, if you have multiple children, you can just take your video manual and just sketch out what each one of these binders are going to look like all at once. So it just makes it easier to just have it put together there on paper, see what it's gonna look like, and then do the actual organizing. You're also going to be needing a pen or a pencil to take down your notes. You are going to be needing some sticky notes or tabs so that you can tab your books and divide them up. And then you are going to be needing all of your student Abeka consumables when it comes to workbooks and test and quizzes books. And for these, we're talking about these two arithmetic books, the reading comprehension one, the language, God's gift of language, the workbook and the quizzes and test books, the creative writing workbook, spelling, and for history, you're going to be needing the map and activities as well as the test and quizzes books. For science, we are going to be using the quizzes and worksheets as well as the tests. And then for the choosing good health, we are going to be needing the consumable for the quizzes, tests, and worksheets. This process, honestly, maybe takes me 45 minutes at the beginning of the year, and I set it up for the entirety of the year. And then at the end of each quarter, it honestly takes me about 10 minutes to remove all the old work and put in the new work. So it's a system that is really easy to maintain and keep up with. All right, so now let's get this show on the road. We're going to be looking at our video manual. And in the video manual, pretty much the whole year is laid out for you. There's several things that we're going to be referencing to help us figure out how we're going to organize this year. The very first thing we're going to look at is at these daily guides. I love these daily guides. If you're new to this, the very first day, it lays out what the day pretty much looks like on the DVDs, but it also lets you know what is the workbook that goes along with that particular subject. So we always love beginning with Bible. And then my son always does arithmetic as his first subject when it comes to academics, just because he finds that to be the most challenging and the one that can, takes the most brain power. So him doing this first is really beneficial to him. And then the rest of the subjects are much easier for him to handle. So now we are going to be going back to the progress reports, okay? Whether you are doing accredited or not, using the progress report to help you structure your homeschooling year, it is honestly the best way to do it. And it's the best way to make sure that you stay on track and that you don't get too far behind. So when you look at the video manual, you're going to see down here that it lets you know what lessons are covered in each subject. And you gotta pay special attention to this because you're going to notice that not every single subject ends in the same lesson for that particular quarter. So we're going to be taking a look at these. And then we're also going to be taking a look at the tests that go on the progress report as well. You're going to notice that the lesson number is on this side and then that the correlating either quiz or test number is on this side. So we are going to be paying attention to those as well. Now, the first thing I like to do is on a sheet of paper, or if you have my printable, on the subject section, I'm going to fill in the different tabs that I'm going to be creating for my binder. And in this particular case, I'm going to be using this as a guide over here, okay? My very first subject is going to be arithmetic. I am not making a subject section for Bible because Bible really doesn't have much consumable work in it. There is sometimes a test or two per quarter, and those are located in the video manual. I just keep them here until the time of the test comes. Then I am going to do reading, and then we are going to do language next. Underneath language, even though it's not in here, I am going to put creative writing. I am putting creative writing because that is a subject that he is going to be doing today. I mean, not today, but this year with Abeka. And it goes along with language, but it's kind of like its separate little thing, I guess, that kind of correlates with it all. So I'm going to put creative writing in there. I'm not going to put penmanship here because we do penmanship separately. That's typically an area that I take over along with the reading portion when it comes to the reading books. If you want to see how we do that, I have shared a day in the life on the portions that I take over when it comes to homeschooling. So that's not in the binder, but you are welcome to add that as a section in yours as well. I'm going to put spelling next, history, and then science. I do have enough space for two more. So if, depending on what you guys are choosing to organize yours at, you can go ahead and use those spaces. Now over here, you're going to see it says quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. And then I have space here, a slash, and space here. On this side, I like to put the lesson number, okay? And on this side, I like to put the quiz number and the test number that is the last one on that particular section, okay? So for example, for arithmetic, I see here that arithmetic is going to go from lesson 1 to lesson 42. But when I come over here, the quiz is going to go quiz 4 up to test 4. So since both of them end in 4, I'm simply going to put a 4 on there. When it comes to reading, reading is going to go up until lesson 45, so 1 through 45. And then when it comes in here, these are those skill sheets. So they're going to go up to number 13 is the last one I'm going to grade. So I'm going to put that in there as well. And then when it comes to language, it's going to go from lesson 1 through 46. And then in this particular case, the last quiz that he's going to do here is quiz number 5. So I put Q5. And then the last exam or test is going to be 3. So I'm going to put T3. You see? Like that. So this is what it's looking like. I'm going to do the exact same thing for every single quarter after that. So that's what it looks like. Now we are going to take our sticky notes, take our student consumables, and we are going to tag them for the entirety of the year. So I'm going to come over here, and the thing about these particular ones is that the lesson is also printed on the bottom, so it's super easy. Math is very easy to put together, and that is where we are going to be putting our sticky note right after test 4 right there. Now I'm going to continue doing this for the entirety of the book. I'm just going to go all the way across. And then I forgot to mention, you're also going to be needing a 3-hole puncher. I absolutely love this hole puncher right here. I've been using it for the past 2 years. It is amazing. I bought it from Amazon, and I will place the link in the description box below in case you are interested. It is very heavy duty and does punch through a lot of paper. It's pretty awesome. So 4th quarter health, I'm not going to rip anything out until that time comes. I just put a little tag that says quarter 4, but the rest of them I am going to begin ripping out. And for these, I like to stagger stack them, so it makes it easy for me to put it inside the binder. And then these typically, when I rip out the front cover first. Okay. And I don't hole punch out until I'm done. I like to batch do everything, okay? So I don't hole punch anything until everything is ripped out from all of the workbooks. So I do the ripping out first, like this, okay? Like this. And then I come to this one, except I face them the other way. It just makes it easy to keep track what's what. These come perforated already, so they're very easy to rip out. You do like probably 3 or 4 pages at a time. Sometimes I get a little zealous and I want to do a little bit more. But there's quite a lot of arithmetic pages here, so I'm simply going to go like this. There we go. Broke them in half. Telling you, this hole puncher is the bomb. I don't know if people still use that phrase nowadays. I don't know what kids nowadays call it, but in my days when something was really awesome, we said it was the bomb. All right, so now I'm going to be writing my subjects on my tabs. There is some sort of a template that you can use online that goes along with this, but I'm just gonna write them by hand because it's just, I don't know, much simpler. So I'm gonna start with my first one. I have to say that putting these little tabs in here was probably the most annoying thing out of the whole thing. It's like, I don't know, these little circular things, you're just trying to, you know, fit them in there. But eventually I got them all in. It just took a little bit of getting used to the new shape. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be placing them in my binder. I only had 7 sections written down, but I have 8 tabs. So on the last tab, I'm going to use that just to put some extra paper in there in case he needs it during his class. Now, for this particular part, you're going to be needing your sticky notes again, okay? So the next part that we are going to be doing is this observing God's world. I'm going to be placing that right there like this. And I'm going to be putting a little sticky, and I'm going to write the word tests on it. Test. Right there, like this. I mean, you can be as fancy as you want with these, but for our family, we really don't have to be super mega fancy. And then we're going to do our Observing God's World quizzes and tests. I mean, quizzes and worksheets, right? And then I'm going to put my section for that right there. There is no actual workbook for that section, so that's all there is. Then I'm going to put the tests for the history. I'm going to write the word test again so they know that the tests are right here. And then I got the quizzes. Now for this one, there is a worksheet component, like a workbook that comes with it when it comes to geography. So for this one, I'm going to write quizzes right here. And then I'm going to put this jazz over here. The section for that. And so on and so forth. I'm going to be repeating this throughout the whole process. For spelling, there is no particular section, like there's just one section of spelling tests. Now, I personally love the way that the language test and quizzes are laid out. I wish that history and science were laid out the same way, because they just put them in order, you know, is one book for the tests and quizzes, one workbook for the actual classwork, and that's all there is to it. And for math is laid out like that too. So here is the final binder. This particular binder comes with a sleeve on the front. So part of what we are going to be doing for the first day of school is that he is going to create a binder cover, and then we're going to slip it in here just to personalize it. So when you open it, I have these sleeves here, like I said, so he can use to put his reading fluency workbook whenever he needs it. We're not there yet, but first we have our math, and then we have our math, we have our workbook for our math. Then we have our reading comprehension skill sheets. We have our language, our God's gift of language C. We have the workbook for that. And then we have our tests and quizzes back here. We have a section for creative writing right here with everything. We have a section for the spelling, vocabulary, and poetry tests. Our history section, it has 3 components. It has the New World History Geography maps and activities. Then it has the quizzes, and then the tests. And then finally, our science section has the quizzes and worksheets, and then the tests. On the 4th quarter, this will be the section for health. And then last but not least, we have a section here with just a loose leaf paper for him to use whenever he needs in class, whether it's creative writing or for any language quizzes that might require him to do some writing on a separate sheet of paper. So as of right now, the only things I really have out of my Abeka curriculum boxes are the student consumables. I'm not going to be touching the rest of it until later on. So since this is what I have out, I love using these cubbies or these little book bins to organize my stuff. I like to put all my consumables and the things that I'm going to be accessing quarterly all in one section, and then I put my reading books that the kids are going to be using in here. But for right now, I'm just going to put that there. And then typically my son's stuff, I have another bin on the top of my cubbies that has his name on it, where I put all the things that he needs to access on a daily basis. His binder will be there. Whatever is the reader that we are going to be working on will also be there, along with his spelling. So there you have it, my friends. That is how I love to organize our Abeka Homeschool Curriculum. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below, how is it that you like organizing your curriculum? What do you think of the binder method? I hope that you have found this video helpful, and happy homeschool curriculum organizing. I will see you next time. Bye.